The night was heavy with silence. The forest stretched far in every direction. Tall trees with silver leaves moved gently in the soft wind, and shadows twisted under the pale moons above. A lone human explorer walked along a narrow path, his boots crunching the dry earth. He had traveled many worlds, but this land felt different. There was an uneasy air, like something waiting in the dark. He stopped when he heard it, a sound faint but sharp, carried through the night air. It was not the howl of an animal, not the whisper of the trees. It was a voice high and trembling, a child's voice. "Help, human. Help!" The cry echoed. "My mom's foot hurts." "Human," the explorer froze. His heart beat faster, the words were clear. They were in human tongue, but broken, strange, as if the speaker had only just learned them. He turned his head slowly, searching. His torchlight cut across the trees, but the forest gave back nothing except shadows. Again the cry came, louder this time, desperate and filled with fear. "My mom's foot hurts, human. My alien mother fell into a savage trap." The explorer frowned. The words hit him with confusion and unease. Why would a child cry out like this in the middle of nowhere? And why call for a human? He felt the pull of caution, but also something else. A strong push in his chest. He could not ignore it. He had seen many things in the galaxy, but a child's cry was the same everywhere. He stepped off the path, his boots sank into soft moss. Branches brushed against his jacket. He followed the voice. His torchlight caught quick flashes of movement, too quick. Like a shadow darting away, he called out, "Where are you, child?" But only the cry returned, shaking and urgent. Every step deeper made the air colder. The forest pressed closer. The silence between the cries grew heavier. The explorer's hand rested on his weapon, but he did not draw it. He wanted to show he came with no harm. At last, he saw a figure standing among the trees. It was small, trembling, with eyes that glowed faint yellow in the dark. The child was not human. Its skin shimmered faintly like silver dust, and its arms were thin and long. It looked frightened. Its voice cracked as it spoke again. "Please, human, my mother is hurt. She is trapped. Please come." "Please." The explorer stepped closer, his voice calm. "What is your name?" "Child." The little one shook its head quickly. No time, she will die. Please follow." Tears glistened in its glowing eyes. It reached out with a small hand, shaking. The explorer looked around. The forest was still, too still. His instincts told him danger was near. Yet when he looked at the child, he saw only fear and need. He took a deep breath and nodded. "All right, lead me." The child turned and rushed into the trees. The explorer followed. His torch cut through branches and roots as they moved faster. He felt the weight of unseen eyes around them. The forest seemed alive, watching, whispering with every step. The cry of the child had led him here, but now a question burned in his mind. Who set a savage trap in this place? Why would anyone hunt an alien mother? He remembered the strange machine scars he had seen on other worlds, cold traps laid by hands that valued nothing but power. The child's steps slowed, it pointed ahead, its voice broke. "She is there." The explorer raised his torch, and the beam cut across the ground ahead. What he saw made his stomach twist. A shape lay trapped between two heavy metal jaws half buried in the soil. The glow of strange wires ran along the teeth of the machine. They pulsed like veins of fire, and caught between them was a woman, larger than the child, her silver skin bleeding where the jaws crushed her leg. Her eyes opened weakly when the light touched her. They shone with a deep alien glow. Her face twisted in pain. Her voice was soft, almost gone. "Child, run." The little one ran to her, clinging to her hand, crying. "No, I brought the human. He will help." "He will help." The explorer stepped closer. His eyes narrowed. This was no natural trap. Someone built it. Someone wanted blood. He crouched, studying the machine. The design looked wrong. It was not fully alien. It was not fully human. It was something in between, twisted together in cruel fashion. The wires hummed softly as if alive. He reached out but stopped. He could feel the danger. The trap was more than steel. It was clever, waiting. Behind him a branch snapped. Loud in the still forest, the explorer spun around. His torchlight cut through the dark, but the trees gave no answer. He felt the weight of hidden eyes watching him. The child clutched his jacket, whispering, "They are near, human." "Hurry." The mother's voice came again, weak and fading. "It is a hunter's trap. They will return soon." The explorer's chest tightened. The forest no longer felt empty. It felt full, crawling with unseen danger. He looked at the woman bleeding. the child clinging, and the shadows thickening all around. He knew one thing: he had only minutes to act. The forest was breathing with silence. Heavy and deep, the human explorer stood still, one hand near his weapon, the other holding the torch that spilled a thin line of light across the strange ground. Behind him, the broken branch still echoed in memory, reminding him that he was not alone. Somewhere in the dark, something moved, but before danger could show itself, the explorer looked down at the little figure beside him. The alien child, trembling, clung to his jacket, its glowing eyes wide with fear. The child whispered in a voice that shook like leaves in wind. "Please, human, hurry, my mother cannot wait." The explorer bent slightly, speaking calm. "I will help, but you must tell me, who are they? Who hunts you?" The child shook its head fiercely, silver hair flashing under the torchlight. No time, they will hear us, they will smell us." "Hurry!" The words made the explorer's skin prickle. He had crossed many worlds, fought many threats, but the way this child spoke was unlike anything he had known. Not just fear, but knowledge. The little one knew the hunters, knew what they could do. The explorer moved forward, crouching near the trap again. The alien mother lay pale, her strange silver blood seeping into the earth. Her breaths came shallow, her face tightened with every twitch of pain. She looked not only hurt but drained, as if the trap was feeding on her strength. The explorer touched the steel jaw carefully. Sparks danced where his glove brushed it. He pulled back quickly, his eyes narrowed. "This is not just metal. It is alive," the mother's weak voice confirmed his thought. "It feeds, it drains, it will kill me soon." The child burst into sobs, pressing its small face into her arm. No, you cannot leave me, mother, you promised." "You promised." The explorer felt the weight of their desperation. He studied the machine. The wires were twisted like veins. Pulsing with dim light, he noticed a panel hidden beneath the soil, a small box humming softly. He knew that must be the core. He also knew that touching it wrong could release more than sparks. He glanced at the child, then at the shadows circling in the forest. The silence around him felt crowded. Every tree seemed to hold a pair of invisible eyes. He whispered to himself, "If I break the trap, the hunters will come." The mother's eyes, glowing faintly, looked into his. "Human, you must choose. Save me and face them, or leave me and live." Her words fell heavy, but the explorer saw the child clutching her hand. He knew there was no choice. He could never leave them. Not when he had heard that desperate cry. He pressed his torch into the ground, freeing both hands. He dug at the soil. Uncovering the box, its surface was black glass, patterns of light crawling across it like insects. His breath slowed. He pulled a small tool from his pack. Thin and sharp, he worked with care, prying at the edges. The box hissed softly. The child watched, silent now, too afraid even to cry. Its glowing eyes locked on the human's hands. The forest broke its silence again. A low growl drifted through the trees. Slow and long, not animal, but something more cruel. The explorer's heart tightened. He worked faster. His tool slipped once, sparks bursting into the night. The mother cried out in pain. The child screamed, "Stop, you're hurting her." "Quiet," the explorer hissed. "If I do not finish, she will die." His hands steadied. He twisted the tool. There was a click. A pulse shot through the wires. For a breath, the machine fell silent, then, with a snap like bone breaking, the jaws unlocked. The alien mother gasped, blood rushing freely as her legs slipped free. The child cried out with joy, hugging her tightly. The explorer pulled her out quickly. Dragging her onto softer ground, her skin shone faintly. Her eyes fluttering, but she was alive. Relief lasted only a second. From the shadows came movement, slow, deliberate, the sound of heavy feet pressing into soil. Leaves rustled above. The growl came again, louder, closer. The child clung to the human, whispering, "They come. They come." The explorer grabbed his torch, lifted it high. His other hand rested firmly on his weapon now. He stared into the trees, waiting, his voice steady. "Stay behind me, from the forest edge." Shapes began to form. Dark figures, tall, thin, with weapons gleaming like bone. Their eyes burned faint red. They moved with confidence, as if this was their ground. One stepped forward, its voice sharp and cold. The trap was set for her. She was marked human, step away. She belongs to us. The explorer's jaw tightened. His hand hovered near his weapon, but he did not draw yet. His voice carried strong. "Not while I stand here." The hunters spread out, surrounding them in a half circle, their weapons raised slowly. The mother groaned, the child sobbed. The human stood still, heart steady, every sense awake. The night was no longer silent, it was alive with danger. And the first move was seconds away. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The air was thick, heavy, every sound sharper than before. The hunters had stepped from the shadows, their red eyes glowing faintly, their strange bone-like weapons raised high. The alien child pressed itself against the human explorer's side. Trembling, the mother lay weak on the ground, clutching her wounded leg, her face pale with pain. The lead hunter stepped closer. Its body was tall, thin as a spear. Its voice came low and cruel. She was marked. She was meant for the trap. No one escapes once the ground is claimed. The human explorer's grip tightened on his weapon. He did not raise it yet, but his stance was steady. His voice firm. She is hurt, and she is no enemy. You will let her live, the hunters laughed. A sound like broken glass, harsh and sharp. The leader raised its weapon. You do not understand, human. The trap is not only steel, it is blood, it is law. It is the way of the savage ground. The words made the explorer pause. He glanced back at the cruel device still half buried in the soil. The wires that had fallen silent now twitched faintly, pulsing as if regaining strength. The steel jaws, though broken open, glistened as if waiting to close again. The trap was not just a machine, it was something more. A living snare designed to feed and bind. The alien mother whispered weakly, "It is the savage trap, the old hunters made it. It drinks the life of those it catches, it will not stop until it is fed." Her voice faded into a groan. She closed her eyes, breathing shallow. The child wailed softly, clutching her hand. "No, no, stay awake." "Mother." The explorer felt a chill run through him. He had fought machines, soldiers, beasts across many worlds. But this was something twisted, part machine, part hunger, part ritual. He could almost feel the trap watching him, as if it knew it had been cheated. The leader hunter stepped forward again, pointing its weapon at the human. "Leave her, human. If you walk away now, we will not mark you. This is not your fight." The explorer's eyes narrowed. His torchlight glared across the hunters' pale faces. He could see markings carved into their armor. Sharp lines burned deep. The symbols looked old. Like scars of ancient wars, he felt his chest tighten. He knew these hunters had been killing for generations, and they would not stop. The child spoke suddenly, its voice trembling but loud. "No, she is my mother. You cannot take her." "You cannot." The hunters laughed again, cruel and amused. The explorer stepped in front of the child, shielding it with his body. His weapon finally lifted. "If you want her, you will have to go through me," the hunters hissed. Their bone weapons clicking open. The air burned with sudden tension. The explorer's heart pounded. He could see it in their eyes. They would not wait long, then something shifted. The ground beneath the broken trap shivered. A low hum rose, growing louder. The steel jaws twitched, the wires glowed red. The savage trap was awakening. The alien mother screamed in pain, though she was no longer caught. The trap's energy still clung to her. Draining her life from afar, the child clung tighter, crying, "It is pulling her, it wants her back." The hunters began to chant softly, their voices rising together, harsh and rhythmic. They were not surprised, they were pleased. The leader spread its arms wide and cried, "The trap is chosen. The ground will claim its feast." The explorer realized the truth. The hunters were not just using the trap. They were worshipping it. They wanted it to feed. They wanted it to drink life. He turned quickly, grabbing the mother's arm. "We have to move her," he said. His voice sharp, urgent, he pulled. But the ground felt heavy, as if holding her down. The soil around the trap shifted. Alive with dark veins of light, the child screamed. "They will not let her go, human. They will never let her go." The hunters' chant grew louder. They closed in, their weapons glowing faintly. The leader's voice rose above all. "Let the savage trap drink. Let it feed. Let the weak be taken." The explorer's jaw clenched. His mind raced. He could not fight them all and fight the trap at the same time. But he could not leave. He looked at the child's glowing eyes. Full of tears, he looked at the mother's fading face. He made his choice. He raised his weapon high. The torchlight glared against the steel barrel. His voice roared across the forest. "Then I will break your cursed trap, and I will break your law." The hunters hissed in rage. Some lunged forward, others stepped back. As if fearing his words, the ground shook harder. The savage trap rose like a beast, its jaws snapping, its wires striking out like whips. Sparks and fire filled the night. The explorer stood tall, his weapon ready, his heart steady. He knew the fight had only just begun. And in that moment, the forest was no longer silent. It screamed with life, with death, with the hunger of the savage trap. The night burned with firelight and sparks from the savage trap. The forest shook as if alive. The human explorer stood firm, weapon ready, torchlight flickering across the ground. The alien child clung tightly to his arm, sobbing softly. The mother lay weak, her silver blood still dripping into the soil. The hunters surrounded them. Their chant had stopped, replaced by silence. Silence sharp as a blade. Their red eyes glowed faintly in the dark, watching, waiting. They did not rush. They moved slowly, carefully, as though the trap itself was the true master and they were its servants. The explorer's chest rose and fell with steady breaths. He knew one mistake could cost them all. His eyes moved from shadow to shadow, counting the hunters. 6, maybe 7, he could not be sure. The forest was too thick, branches curling like claws, hiding more eyes than he could see. The savage trap twisted in the soil. Its jaws clanged shut with a metallic scream. Its wires lashed like whips, searching, tasting the air. It was alive with hunger. The alien mother groaned. Clutching her chest, the child screamed. It is pulling her again, it wants her soul. The leader hunter stepped closer. Its long weapon raised. Human, your fight is useless, the trap will drink her life, and you will feed its rage when you fall. This ground belongs to us. This forest remembers blood. The explorer lifted his weapon higher, his voice steady but fierce. Then I will remind this forest what it means to resist, the hunters hissed. A low sound like steam rising from broken earth. They spread wider, circling the small group. The torchlight barely reached their faces now. They were shadows, silent and dangerous. Their feet moved without sound. The explorer's skin prickled. He felt them tightening the circle. Their game was patience. They wanted fear to crush him before the fight even began. He turned quickly, crouching beside the alien mother. Her breathing was shallow, her skin dimmer than before. Can you move? He asked. His voice sharp but urgent. Her eyes fluttered open, glowing faint but still alive. Not far, my strength is gone. The trap has taken too much, the child wailed. Please, human, do not leave her, please. The explorer shook his head firmly. I will not leave her, we will get out, but you must stay quiet and stay behind me. The ground groaned again. The savage trap shivered, its broken wires sparking with light. It was rebuilding itself piece by piece. The machine of hunger refused to die. The leader hunter pointed at the trap and shouted, The savage trap rises again, it calls for blood. It calls for her life and your life, human. The chant began once more. Low and cold, the other hunters joined. Their voices rose in rhythm. Feed the ground, feed the ground, feed the ground. The explorer's grip tightened. His mind raced. If the trap could rebuild, then even destroying it once would not end it. It was tied to the land itself, he realized the true horror. The hunters did not just worship the trap. They planted it, they made it grow like a seed of death. He pulled the child closer, whispering fast, Listen, there will be a moment when I move. You must help your mother drag her into the trees, hide. Do you understand? The child's glowing eyes filled with tears but nodded. Yes, human. The explorer rose, standing tall again. The hunters hissed louder as if sensing his choice. The trap screamed, its jaws snapping, its wires stretching toward him like serpents. He fired. The weapon roared, a bright flash cut the night. The front of the trap exploded in sparks. The hunters shrieked in fury. Breaking their silence, they rushed forward at last, their bone weapons slashing the air. The child screamed, dragging at the mother, pulling her weak body into the shadows. The explorer stood his ground, firing again and again. Each shot lit the forest like lightning. The hunters darted between trees, moving unnaturally fast, their red eyes flashing in and out of sight. One leaped from the dark, weapon raised high. The explorer swung his torch, smashing the hunter's face. Sparks flew. The creature shrieked and fell back. Another rushed low. The explorer kicked hard, sending it sprawling into the dirt. But they did not stop. More came, their shadows stretching longer. The chant had become a scream now. Feed the ground! Feed the ground! The trap lashed again. Its wires struck the soil near the explorer's feet, tearing holes. The ground itself shook. Roots snapped, trees bent. The land was obeying the trap. The explorer's eyes narrowed. He shouted above the noise. You will not have her! His voice thundered across the forest. The hunters paused for a heartbeat, shocked by his defiance, and in that moment of silence, The mother's weak voice whispered, "Human, there is a path, a hidden way. Beneath the roots follow the river of stone, it will lead you out." Her eyes closed again, too weak to say more. The child screamed, "She told you, she told." "Take us, hurry!" The explorer fired one last shot at the trap. The wires burst, filling the night with fire. Smoke rose thick, blinding the hunters for seconds. He rushed to the mother, lifting her weak form onto his back. The child grabbed his arm. Together they ran into the shadows. Behind them, the hunters roared. The chant turned to a furious howl. The forest itself seemed to chase them. And ahead in the dark, the roots twisted like tunnels, hiding the secret path the mother had whispered about. The forest groaned as the human explorer pushed forward. The alien mother was heavy on his back, her body weak, silver blood dripping onto the soil. The child clung to his arm, guiding him through the twisting roots. The air was thick with smoke from the broken trap. But behind them came the sound of fury. The hunters were chasing. Their voices cut through the night, sharp and angry. "Feed the ground! Feed the ground!" The chant had turned into a roar. Branches snapped as the tall shadows moved fast. Their bone weapons clicked, glowing faintly red. They were close, too close. The explorer's boots struck hard against the earth. His breath came fast but steady. He followed the hidden path the alien mother had whispered about. Roots curled above his head like archways, and the ground sloped down into darkness. A faint glow came from beneath the soil. Guiding them deeper, the child whispered, its voice shaking, "Hurry, human, they will not stop. They will not forgive." The explorer nodded, his grip firm on his weapon. "Keep moving. Do not look back," but the forest itself betrayed them. The path twisted sharply, roots blocking the way. He was forced to slow. He pushed the roots aside, the mother groaning softly against his back. The child tugged at his sleeve. "They are coming. They are coming!" A shadow leaped from above. A hunter dropped from the branches. Its weapon raised high. The explorer spun, firing. The flash lit the tunnel. The hunter screamed. Falling back into the roots, its weapon clattered against the stone. But more came. 2 hunters rushed from the sides. Their bone blades slashed the air. The explorer raised his arm, blocking one strike with his weapon. Sparks flew as steel met bone. The child screamed, ducking low. The second hunter lunged at the mother. Reaching for her weak body, the explorer roared, kicking the creature back with all his strength. It struck the tunnel wall and hissed, its red eyes burning with hate. The hunters pulled back, circling like wolves. Their movement smooth, trained. They knew how to wait. How to bleed their prey with fear. Their chant began again, low and cruel. "Feed the ground. Feed the ground." The explorer steadied himself, his weapon aimed, his torch flickering against the damp tunnel walls. His voice thundered, "You will not have them." "Not while I breathe." The child clung tighter, its small body shaking. "They are many, human. They will not stop. They want her blood. They want your blood too." The alien mother stirred weakly on his back, her voice faint, broken. "They are traitors, not true guardians. They serve only the trap, not the people." Her words fell into silence as her strength failed again. The explorer's jaw tightened. He now understood. These hunters were not simply predators. They were betrayers, killers of their own kind, worshippers of a machine that drained life and they would never allow escape. The hunters hissed together, their red eyes narrowing. One shouted, "She was chosen." The trap called her, the ground marked her, "Human, you stand against the law of death." The explorer stepped forward, his weapon steady, his voice like iron. "Then I will break your law, and if death wants me, it must fight me too," the hunters screamed. Their patience breaking, they rushed as one, their weapons raised. The tunnel filled with the sound of claws and bones striking against stone. The explorer fired. The first shot tore through the dark. A hunter fell, screeching. The second came fast. Its blade scraped his arm, cutting cloth. He swung the torch. Smashing it across the face, sparks burst. The creature stumbled back. Another grabbed his leg. Dragging him down, the child screamed, pounding its small fists against the attacker. The explorer kicked hard, slamming his boot into the creature's jaw. It released with a hiss, blood spilling black against the stone. But there were too many. They crowded the tunnel. Their chant now a scream, "Feed the ground. Feed the ground." The explorer felt the walls shaking, the trap's hunger still alive even though he had broken it. The forest was feeding their fury. He pulled the mother tighter on his back, shouting to the child, "Run, find a way out." Now, the child shook its head, tears glowing in its eyes. No, I will not leave you. I will not. The hunters charged again. Their weapons clashed against his. Sparks and shadows danced. The explorer fought with fire and steel. His breaths heavy, his body burning with effort. Finally, he saw a break. A crack in the tunnel wall. Faint light seeping through. A hidden way, small but real, he fired one last shot. The blast echoing like thunder. The hunter staggered back, hissing in pain. He grabbed the child's arm, pulling it toward the light. Together they forced through the crack, roots tearing at their clothes. The alien mother groaned but stayed on his back. Behind them, the hunters howled, their chant echoing even louder. Feed the ground. Feed the ground. The explorer stumbled into a cavern, wide and glowing with strange crystals. The walls shimmered with pale light. The sound of water echoed deep inside. The child gasped. The hidden caverns, the river of stone. Mother was right. The explorer looked back at the crack they had come through. Hunter's eyes glowed faint red in the darkness. Their shadows crawling closer, he raised his weapon, breath steady. Then we hold here. The cavern shook with the sound of the first true attack. The cavern shimmered with pale light. Crystals grew from the walls like frozen fire, casting long shadows across the stone floor. The human explorer stood at the entrance crack, weapon raised. His torchlight cut through the smoke still drifting from the tunnel. Red eyes glimmered in the dark beyond. The hunters were close, too close. The alien child pulled at his arm, its voice trembling. Human, we must go. They will not stop. They will follow us forever. On his back, the alien mother stirred, her weak voice like a whisper of wind. The river of stone, follow it. It will lead us out. But we must be fast. The explorer nodded. He took one last look at the crack where the hunters gathered, their chant echoing through the tunnel. Feed the ground, feed the ground. Then he turned, leading the child deeper into the cavern. The path sloped down. The sound of water grew louder. A thin river ran through the stone. Glowing faintly blue, the child's eyes widened. The river of stone. This is it. This is the path she spoke of. The explorer followed the river, his boots splashing softly against the shallow water. The cavern stretched far, filled with strange shapes. Towers of crystals rose like spears, their glow reflecting on the wet walls. The place was beautiful, but also heavy with danger. Every sound echoed too loud, every shadow felt alive. Behind them, the hunters entered the cavern. Their chant turned to howls. The sound bounced against the stone, making them seem many endless. The explorer quickened his pace. Stay close, child. Do not stop. They ran deeper, the river twisted. Forming narrow tunnels, the air grew cold. The mother groaned weakly, clutching the explorer's shoulder. They will not let us reach the end. They know the paths. They guard the exits, her words proved true. Ahead, the tunnel widened into another cavern. But this one was not empty. Hunters stood waiting, tall and silent. Their red eyes glowed. Their bone weapons gleamed in the crystal light. The child gasped, its voice breaking. They are here. They blocked the way. The explorer stopped. Breathing hard, he looked back. Shadows moved fast behind them. The hunters were closing from both sides. He was trapped, caught between two groups. The child clung to his sleeve, its small body trembling. What do we do, human? What do we do? The explorer's eyes narrowed. His mind raced. He had faced ambushes before. He knew fear was what they wanted. If he froze, they would strike. He looked at the glowing river. The water rushed between the hunters, slipping past them into another tunnel. His answer was there. He crouched quickly, placing the mother against the stone. Child, hold her. Do not let her go. I need my hands free. The child obeyed, hugging its mother tightly, its glowing eyes filled with tears. Please, do not leave us. The explorer shook his head firmly. I am not leaving. I am clearing the way. He stood tall, weapon ready. The hunters ahead stepped forward. Raising their bone blades, their leader among them hissed. The trap failed, but the law remains. The ground will feed tonight. Your blood will join hers. The explorer raised his weapon high. His voice thundered in the cavern. Then let the ground choke on fire, he fired. The blast struck the crystal wall. Shards exploded like rain. The cavern filled with bright light and sharp sound. Hunters staggered, blinded by the sudden burst. Their chant broke into screams. Now, the explorer shouted. He grabbed the mother again, lifting her onto his back. The child clung to his arm. Together they dashed forward, racing through the gap between the stunned hunters. The glowing river splashed under their feet. Guiding them through the chaos, the hunters roared. Recovering fast, they gave chase. Their steps thundered against the stone. The cavern shook with their fury. The path narrowed, twisting sharply. The explorer's breath came heavy. His muscles burned from carrying the mother. But he did not stop. He could not stop. He felt the child's grip tight against him. The cavern shook with the roar of hunters. Their chant rose louder than before. Feed the ground. Feed the ground. The red glow of their eyes filled the chamber like fire. The alien child clung to the human explorer's side. Trembling, the mother, weak and bleeding, whispered faintly on his back, her voice almost gone. Human. Do not let them. Take the child. The explorer's chest burned with the weight of choice. Ahead, the stone arch shone faint with light. It was the exit, freedom. But between him and that light stood a wall of hunters. Dozens. Their bone weapons glistened in the crystal glow. Behind him, more shadows gathered, trapping him inside the circle. The leader hunter raised its weapon high. Its voice sharp, cruel. You have run far, human. But the savage ground takes all. No one leaves, not her, not the child. Not you. The explorer's grip tightened on his weapon. His jaw clenched, his eyes steady. He had carried the mother through fire, through traps, through endless chase. He had promised the child he would not leave, and he was not a man to break his word. He whispered to the child, "Stay behind me." No matter what, the first hunter charged, screaming, its blade flashed. The explorer fired. The blast shook the cavern. The hunter fell, smoking. The others roared in fury, rushing forward. The cavern exploded with sound. Steel against bone, fire against shadow. The explorer fought like a storm. His weapon blazed. Each shot lit the cavern like lightning. Hunters fell one by one, their chants turning into shrieks. But for every one that fell, 2 more came. Their blades scraped his armor, cut across his arms. Blood dripped. But he did not stop. His body burned with pain, but his will was steel. The child screamed, clutching its mother tighter, its glowing eyes wide with terror. Human, they are too many. Too many. The explorer's voice thundered above the chaos. Then we make every shot count. The hunters pressed closer. Their chant never stopped. Feed the ground. Feed the ground. The sound pounded like drums in the stone walls. The savage trap's hunger filled the cavern. The ground shook as if cheering for their death. The leader hunter stepped forward, its weapon glowing bright red. You cannot win, human, you are only one. We are the law of this ground. The explorer spat blood, his eyes fierce. Then your law ends tonight. With a roar, he fired at the crystals above. The blast tore through stone. Shards rained down like fire. Hunters screamed as sharp crystals fell on them. The cavern shook. Dust filled the air. The chant faltered, broken for the first time. Seizing the moment, the explorer grabbed the child's arm, pulling it toward the glowing exit. The mother groaned weakly, but he carried her still. Step after step, his legs heavy, his back screaming with pain, but he moved. He would not stop. The hunters shrieked in rage, leaping through falling stone. The leader roared, "You cannot leave, human. You belong to the ground." The explorer turned one last time, his weapon nearly empty. His torchlight dim, his voice thundered, "I do not belong to the ground, I belong to the stars." He fired his last shot. The blast struck the cavern roof. Stone collapsed, blocking the tunnel behind him. The hunters screamed, their voices drowned by the roar of falling rock. The exit stood ahead, glowing brighter. The explorer staggered forward, carrying the mother, pulling the child. Each step felt like the weight of a mountain, but he pushed on. At last they burst through the arch. Out into the cold night air, the forest stretched wide. The sky above painted with 2 moons. Free at last, the child cried out with joy, clinging to the explorer. "We are alive, human. We are alive." The mother lay weak on the ground. Her silver eyes faint but open, she whispered, "You saved us. You carried us through the savage ground, human. You are more than ally. You are protector." The explorer knelt, his chest heaving, his weapon broken, his body cut and bruised. He looked at the child, then at the mother. His voice calm but strong. "As long as I stand, no trap, no hunter, no law of death will take you." The child's glowing eyes filled with tears. It whispered softly, "Human, you saved my world." The forest was silent now. The savage trap buried in stone, the hunters lost in darkness. The night belonged to the survivors. The explorer lifted his gaze to the sky. He had come to this planet as a stranger, but now he knew. The fight was not over. But hope had been born, and hope was stronger than fear. He rose slowly, carrying the mother once more, guiding the child beside him. Together they walked into the forest, leaving the cursed cavern behind. The stars above watched, bright and endless. And the story of the human who defied the savage ground had only just begun.